Okay, so we are ready to do our mattress seam. This, I've got both my panels here. They are facing away from me, so the hem is towards the top of the screen. This is my neckline. This piece that you see is the back panel, so my right side of my fabric is facing out. This is the way you will wear the sweater. You want to see what you're doing when you do this mattress seam. So this is my front seam that I will show you now. Your last stitch there, this can be from the bottom up or from the neckline down to the hem, just depending on where you left that long tail. So there's my last single crochet. This was my first front panel. There's my last single crochet. Now I didn't chain one to end off. I simply want to pull that long tail right through to keep it nice and neat. I don't like that knot that it creates when you chain one before you bind off. Okay, now threading this onto your darning needle, we are going to do a simple mattress stitch that will make the seam disappear. So again, we've got our right side of our fabric facing us. Now I'm going to do it up towards the hem, but I do prefer to turn my work so I'm working like that to my left side rather than up, but I think for the tutorial it will be easier to see what I do. So in your panel that doesn't have the end, the other panel, you will see there is a chain 2 space. So the single crochets do not align, they shouldn't. You've got a single crochet on this one, and then in this space you'll have a single crochet on the other panel. Then in that space, your next single crochet from the opposite panel. That is the way it should be. So I just simply go from the bottom up to the top through that one little loop of my chain 2 just to secure that first stitch. Now this is my first single crochet where I ended with my long tail. I'll go into the body under both those strands and through. Do not pull too tight because you want to be able to see where you're going next. Now on the front again, there's the first single crochet on the opposite panel, going under both loops, and then on the other panel again under the next single, both loops. I do a few stitches at once. The reason why I do this is to show you what happens, and so you switch between your single crochet on the one panel and your single crochet on the other panel. You go under both those loops. Now once you pull that yarn through, let's just see that magic. There we go. And it is barely visible. So continue like this. You've got that single crochet. Now make sure you have the next one on the opposite panel and the next one on that panel. You can do 1 1 1. I just prefer to get a few stitches on my needle before I pull it through. So let's pull that through. I always hold it here at the top so you don't pinch it, but if you do pull a little bit too tight, you can simply stretch it out slightly. There, you cannot see that seam. the inside, it will make a little ridge. This is why you want, you see that ridge? You can barely feel it on the inside, it doesn't bother, but this is why you don't want to do it from the inside. This is why you want to seam with your outside of your fabric facing you. So you will continue all the way to the hem, and you will also do the back seam like this. I do prefer to do my back seam first and fit my sweater, because you worked so hard to get to this point, and then you can see if you maybe want to keep it open to keep it as a cardigan instead of a sweater. So I have done my mattress stitch seams in the front and the back. There is my one seam, and there you can see the inside of the back seam. Now we want to single crochet around the neck edge as well as the bottom edge before we add our ribbing. Just a quick note on the mattress join, because it's on the front and back of the body where it can be quite visible. What I do is I cut my tail so it is shorter, but I do not knot it or work over it, because I want these tails, the seams, I want them to have some give when I block my sweater, and only after I blocked it and I know that there's enough yarn there, I will work away the end of that seaming yarn. So just to show you what will happen if you have too little yarn and your sweater starts growing in length a little bit because of the weight of the double knit, it will be able to kinch, and you really don't want that. That will ruin your whole project. So I always hold it at the top, and the bottom there's the end of the mattress seam, and just stretch it nice to make sure that piece of yarn is basically, it's got a little bit of give. So again, just leave those tails, don't knot them, just leave a long enough tail so they can't come out. Once you've blocked, you will know that you have enough there, and then you can work away those last little ends. So the working around the top neck edge, there it is. I'm going to flip my sweater and start on the back panel and go around with the right side of my sweater facing me.